Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the podcast. We're back on Discord because we're tired.
We are. We've had a busy weekend and
Mm-hmm.
week. We didn't want to put this off again like we had to last week, so
Yeah.
getting it out while everything's still fresh.
Yes. Yes. Speaking of freshness, Dave, we got some things to talk about. What happened today, bud?
What do you mean? I learned that those signs that say, avalanche train enter through gates only are made to withstand an avalanche. um Dude, I was just coming down Mambo. I thought the one trail was open, so like I carved inwards, realized it wasn't. So then I went to like carve back out, and the next thing I know, my downhill skis just off,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm on my side, and I'm like, well, I'm going for a ride now.
Yep.
Um, could not see anything, like fully whitewashed, and
Yeah.
then next thing I know, I came to a very abrupt stop. Um, Turns out those things don't move even when you hit them at 35 miles an hour.
No, they don't, buddy. I'm sorry. Does not sound like
Sorry.
fun.
It's
Uh,
all right. It was at the end of my day, and I thought about like bringing it up because I think I can get workman's comp because I was on Mambo. It's not like I was on off trail,
yeah.
but I don't know if that's technically our designated route back
Interesting.
because it might be the rope tow.
Yeah.
But either way, I'm fine. Just a big bruise that's gonna pop up here in the next day or two.
Yep.
Walking might be a little sore, but
Yeah.
tomorrow's powder day, so lots of ibuprofen
Yep.
and
All the good stuff.
yeah.
For sure. Well, I played League today.
How did that go?
It was fine. I went and played a full round with Kai before. I probably shouldn't have.
I was gonna say, there's your problem right there.
Yeah. And even when you play with Kai, you throw five shots on each hole. After hole 11, I was like, all right, I'm one and done. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
save my arm. And then I find I've talked about this before, but I find when I get into those sanctioned leagues and events and stuff, I tend to struggle with confidence. I know I can throw it, I know I can do it, I know I can putt, but I tend to struggle with confidence on that stuff, and that just kind of brought the whole round down. Hole two, we were playing from longs,
Mm-hmm.
up high, and I hit first available, kicked way right, had to scramble to just get on the fairway. I
Been
had
there.
no look towards the basket. I literally had to pitch out, and
Mm-hmm.
then my upshot was awful. I was like, oh, it's a little headwindy. I'll throw an envy kind of on some highs, or it'll flip to flat and kind of just go, and it actually turned over. It might be time to just try a new envy out. Um, and then hole five on the island hit first available again after parking it twice in the practice round with Kai. One from short, one from long. And the rest of the round was just kind of up and down. And then hole 10, I just beat myself up. I threw a really good shot, and then the wind just lifted it, lifted it, lifted it, lifted it, and off into the woods it went. I bogeyed 10. Yeah, I doubled
You
10.
you need to get out of your head and your expectations while you're
Yes,
playing in sanctioned rounds
I know.
because you think about stuff where you're like, well, I parked this 3 times during like when I was playing
Yeah,
with Kai, and it's like, yeah, what about the other four that you did hit first available
yeah,
while you were playing with
totally,
Kai? Like,
totally. And
you can't have those expectations always
yeah,
going into it.
and the putting is feeling better. The consistency is feeling better. Confidence is lacking.
Mm.
Um, so hole 11 through a vulture. It was kind of like a soft tail right to left through a vulture on the right side, and I shit you not, if it was a futsal goal, I would have aced. I was under the basket.
Nice.
Hole 12, I was like, okay, I forehand already went to shit this round. We're not doing that again. Um, I want to try this pipeline on like a flat, like release it flat, maybe a touch of Annie, and kind of have it like hold and fade to the longer basket, not the one by the bushes, the longer one. And I just
Mm-hmm.
did not put my foot down, which was my mistake all day. I did not put my foot down, um, and just had to scramble for a bad bogey. And then 13, I see Brady through a Buzz OS, parked it. Ben threw a Firebird and did not get the skip he needed because it was a headwind.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm gonna throw up my crux, and I was like a foot behind Brady. Made the putt, and then
Nice.
from
I
there,
saw Brady twice last week
yeah, dude's
up
a
at
good
Alta.
player. Really,
Well, yeah, up at Alta.
that's sick.
Yeah.
Um, and then from there on, we go to 14. And I throw a lumpy, and I just hazard the crap out of it. Um, I
I
just
think that's also the most common mistake that I think both you and I make throwing our flippy putters
yeah,
is expecting too much out of it, and it's
yeah,
like no, it still has some stability to
yeah.
it.
No,
Like,
I mean like I've thrown some bad hyzer shots, but this was like normal hyzer, like here maybe. I was full on like knife hyzer. So
bro,
that
your flat is here.
yeah. But anyways, and then from there I was like I'm just saving par because I looked at the scores and Blake Burks was at 6 over.
Hmm.
Um, and his round still hasn't finished for some reason. I don't know if he DNF'd or something. John White, who's playing right now, is +6 through 7, and I was like, okay, if I shoot 5 +5, I'll hopefully shoot around my rating because there's an MPO player who shot +6 who was like 8 points behind my rating. So I was like, okay,
Hmm.
I shoot +5, I'll be happy. Um, Played really smart the rest of the way. Laid up some putts, ran some putts, and made the comebackers. And then 18, I came around because there is that new OB cement on the right side. I
Yeah.
saw Ben lace a line, and I was like, Ben, what do I do? I just want a caddy at this point. And he's like, just do what I did. Like, grab like
Oregon.
a straight. Well, no, so he threw it on the right side flat and just let. He threw it crave straight, and then a little bit of finish with a. It was a right to left wind kind of. Like, okay, I'll
Yeah.
grab this like wraith that I've been throwing pretty well all day. I feel like, and I threw that into the ground. Threw a zone upshot to like 45, 50 minimum. Like it was probably closer to 55. And I'm like, I'm not bogeying. And I look at Ben. He's like, you're threeing this. And I just look up, take a deep breath, drain it. And I'm like, if I put it like that all day, I would have been like -2. But
That confidence, bud.
yeah. But besides that, it's pretty good. I am in the clubhouse at +5. In MA2, we have two people, two MA2s on the course. I kind of want to just go through this because it is local, and then we'll get into everything else. Um, Brady shot a -8. Brady played out of his mind. It was awesome to see.
Dang.
Jared shot 5 under. Jake Laputka 4 under. Ben shot 3 under. Ben had kind of a weird day. He just couldn't get putts going. Um,
He's very up and down. I feel like, especially at Creekside.
yeah,
But Creekside's like that for everybody.
yeah. Um, And then Gabriel Kenny is 1 under in the clubhouse. Everyone else is over. Um, and then MP40 Kenneth Oakter is -4 in the clubhouse with Scott Belichick, 2 strokes behind him in the clubhouse. Zach, I'm not going to even try to pronounce that middle name. Ralphs is even through 8. MP50, Brett Birders and John Pelosa both in the clubhouse. Brett at +1. MA1,
Butters.
thank you. MA1, Chris Fox, -5. Craig Bennett, -1. Hans, +1 for your top 3. And Nick Jennings, +2, all in the clubhouse. 2 MA40 guys, Bryce Rosenberg, -1 through 8. Brian Bowling, +5 in the clubhouse. MA50, Robert Beller, -1 through 8. And Will Sinclair, +4 in the clubhouse. We already went through MA2. MA3 guys both finished +9. Kyle Hall and Jacob Barham. And MA4, we have a +5 in the clubhouse, a +4 in the clubhouse, a +1 through 3, and a -1 through 3 in our friend Timothy.
How hard is that layout right now?
It's pretty hard.
Doesn't it doesn't feel like it's that hard.
Well, MA
I guess long
MA3,
pads.
yeah, MA3 and below are playing long pads. The Mando is in on 9. Um,
Okay. It's still not like
seven
a
seven's in the deep corner. The islands are all in play. There is OB on the cement everywhere. So like
yeah.
you
Creekside
know,
open.
Creekside open. Yeah,
Yeah.
with a few like more forgiving stuff. Oh, also, I want to talk about this before I move on. We're on hole 16, the water shot.
Yeah.
Brady throws
15. 15.
15. Thank you. Brady throws like a flex forehand up and over the bushes. Hits the like first big guardian tree and kind of rolls down.
Yeah.
And a group of kids are walking through and they grab his disc and just chuck it in the water.
As he deserves.
In a sanctions round. And then like Brady starts running up there and these like 3 girls just start screaming and running away. And then Ben was like, well, maybe their mom will pick them up at the school so they don't have to walk through the disc golf park. And I was like, yep. So I don't know.
With that, I mean, you guys just play it from where you think the lie was.
Yeah, and that's what we did.
Like,
he
yeah.
Where he hit the tree, it looked like it just rolled and checked up like 5-6 feet next to like right behind to the right and a little behind the tree, and we all just said, yeah, there it is. And he missed his putt. I think the girls got in his head because he was making those all day.
Well, yeah.
Also a little
It's annoying.
obstructive. Yeah. So. All right, moving on to the big stuff.
Waco. Waco is WACO.
Waco is
happened this weekend.
Yeah. FPO first.
The Waco Annual Charity Open, otherwise known as Waco.
Presented by Prodigy.
Prodigy. Which, do we want to talk about the baskets first, or
shoot?
How much everybody hated those Prodigy baskets?
Yeah. Even Simon. Did you see Simon's vlog?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched his.
Even just a little right on these things, and they just spit out. God, I look like Rudolph right now in this camera.
You do. You got a little thing going on.
Yeah, I'm just a little sunburned.
I did appreciate Simon's vlogs this week. I feel like they're very eye-opening to what goes on during an actual like Pro Tour event and what their pros are going through and everything else. Like, it's not just like a documentary or something like that. Like, it's actually just like him there.
Totally. And I really appreciated it too. I thought it was very intriguing to watch. I did not watch round 2. I did watch round 1 and 3 though, because
that's why you missed the one thing I wanted to talk about.
And I did see about it. Okay.
Yeah. You want to start with FPO?
Let's start with FPO because I do have that up.
Okay. Start with the three-time Waco champion. I believe it's 3 in a row now, right?
Maybe.
I think so.
Do I need to look up her PDJ? Hold
on. Waco finishes.
2024.
I know she won 2024.
You know she won in 2024?
Oh yeah. She also won 2023.
She did. Okay, well, I'm just slow on the PDJ app. Sorry.
3 times in a row winner, Kristen Lott now.
No more ta-ta. She also has a new profile picture on PDJ.
Does she?
It's that Nike brand deal, baby.
Ooh, I need to go check that out.
It's nothing crazy.
No.
Yeah, Kristen had a good 3 days. You know.
Did you watch the third day?
No.
I didn't so, I stopped in the shop after going touring in the morning, and watched the final round of FPO coverage.
Sure.
And they were basically like, Kristen wasn't even playing very well, and they were just not trying to win that. Hannah Blomers couldn't make a putt within 15 feet.
Okay.
Like she got the yips back. She's back to just throwing a straight hyzer putt, right side, left side, just not good.
Like how I
She
putt.
caged she caged one from 13 feet.
I
I
did
don't
that
think you'd
today.
even
I did
did
that.
you? Okay, but
Actually, no. It was like 20. It was like 25.
yeah, no, she was way too close to be caging that. So she couldn't get anything going. Holland Hanley wasn't really throwing the disc that well. Her putt was on, like she was putting very well. She
Hmm.
just could not keep it together off the tee box.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, yeah.
Missy,
Holland had a 87% C1 and a 50% C2 in the final round. Like that's pretty good.
yeah, Missy Gannon played really well. She just had way too much ground to make up,
Hmm.
and at one point I think scores Kristen was only leading by like 2 or 3 strokes at one point over Hannah Blomers and Missy Gannon, and then the back nine she kind of found her rhythm again.
Yeah. I mean, the final 5 holes, she birdied 4 of them.
Yeah,
You
so
know, and then Missy double bogeyed 16 and 17. You know, that's what that's 4 strokes, so she would have been at neg 16. So right there with Holland, but not really in striking distance
yeah, it seemed like it was kind of Kristen's to win
to lose.
or to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she held it together. We're going to be seeing a lot of that again this year. I feel like, especially in those wooded courses,
Yeah, for
having a
sure.
backhand and a forehand. Her forehand's like a cheat code on that course.
Yeah.
Like those 210-foot straight shots, she just throws like a flip up forehand.
Hmm.
Um, I did notice that one of her throwing putters, it might be one of her peers, looks like lumpy. Like the thing was so warped on it.
Have you seen Goose's zone?
No.
I don't know if he's bagging it this year, but Goose has a zone that looks like Lumpy. And the thing is, like, you know how Lumpy used to be dead straight? Now the thing turns on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Goose's zone is literally dead straight, but like he has a spot. You know how I always put my hand on the Y, and that's why
Yep.
the Y rubs off. That's what Goose's zone is. He always has like the same hand spot. So I know some
Nice.
people hate lumpy discs. I love them sometimes, depending.
We did have some fun action going on where Holland Hanley threw a shot on hole 16 that or 17 that the spotter kept in bounds on day one. Came out
Um,
over the water, skipped, bounced up, was 100% going out of bounds in the water, and the spotter that was standing there
that
um,
was
was unable to dodge it.
that happened twice because I know it happened with Ezra Robinson on 17.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
Is
yeah, yeah.
Ezra's?
We're gonna get to that in just a second.
Yeah.
Real quick, I do want to give a shout out to Rebecca Cox. She shot 11 under in the final round to move up 8
Damn.
spots from +2. It was a 1035 rated round,
Damn.
um, which is sweet.
Yeah, that's a big day.
That's a big day. Yeah, so let's just run through the top 5 real quick. Kristen Lott, Holland Hanley, Henna Blumrus, Missy Gannon, and Ella Hansen all in the top 5. Missy and Ella would be tied for 4th. So,
And
yeah.
that's kind of who you expect this year.
Yeah. Um,
Maybe Evelina on some of those bigger courses.
yeah,
I don't know if we
Evelina
I,
wasn't.
did you see Evelina's putt?
Did it look better?
It's back.
Oh
It's back.
no, boy.
Whatever she did in that first tournament is
Chalk.
not
Okay.
was not there this
Sure.
weekend.
Sure.
Which you never want to see. I think somebody said in round 2 she was 0 for 6 from C2 and 0 for 9 from C1X.
Yes. She had a 0% put it from in C1X and C2.
Yep.
Um,
She did not make a putt that wasn't bullseyed.
and in round 3, 0 from C2. She only had 2, and then 11 out of 20 from C1X.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's she really needs to figure out her putt in order
Yeah,
to
because
stay consistent.
she had 10 out of 18 Circle One regulation.
Yeah, which is huge
So
in
that could have been
FPO.
10 under in round three. That was round three. Round
Yeah.
two, same same thing. Um, some bigger names that are a little further down the list. We see Cat Merch in 10th, Silva in 13th, Evelina in 14th, Paige Pierce down in 15th. Uh, Eliezra, coming through the ranks, had a good final day. She was in 20th. And then we're also just going to give a shout out Taylor Kochek, 48th.
Ian shouting out Taylor Kochek every podcast till she says hi.
Yep, I will be. Taylor, come join us, please. It'll be good fun. All right, MPO. Let's move on. Round one. MPO round one. Talk me through it, Dave. What happened?
Ezra Robinson came out hot again,
Yeah,
just like he has.
I was about to say Ezra Robinson might be. Yeah, he played really
He's
well day one. I mean, There's a lot of people playing well on this course. Like the top 11 are two strokes, and then
yeah.
top 20 is three strokes.
No, he played really well. There was that controversy. I believe that was round one, wasn't it?
Yes, round one, hole 17.
Throws it over the water, comes back in, hits off land, skips kind of counter skips backwards, and hits a spotter that's standing right in the OB line.
Yeah.
She did kind of try to dodge it. She wouldn't like what's she gonna do? Move backwards into the water.
Yeah.
Um, but also like it kind of goes to show like why are people standing in a spot like that? Like that is kind of a landing zone
Yes.
or a landing area.
For sure.
I get that you need to be able to see the disc, but also at the same time, like she could have been 30 feet behind the basket in the OB there and still have seen where it went out
Sure.
from a better angle than where all the pros are. So it's like bad. It just looks bad on disc golf as a whole, in my opinion, because it's so much of just like, well, what happens if somebody does this during a tournament? And we're just like, well, it happens.
Yeah.
It's like if somebody came out in the field during a soccer game and kicked the ball in, it's like they're not gonna be like, well, that's a goal.
Yeah. No, it's
Like,
definitely there's some controversy around it, and like our sport is so unique that it's one of the few sports we do have um, volunteers as officials. Because they're saying the disc is in bounds. But they're not getting paid.
right.
They haven't been through hours of training. Like a soccer ref or things
Well,
like that.
and what they say doesn't necessarily matter either because they're not part of the card.
Yeah.
So they are just a suggestion.
Yeah. But yeah, round one we saw some. So Ezra shot 12 down. You saw Calvin, Adam Hammis, Chris Dickerson, Nathan Queen, and Clay Edwards all shoot 11 down. Nathan Queen played really well. He just kind of fell apart the last three holes, but he had an
Yep.
eagle on 7,
7.
which is sweet. Like I was glad to see Nathan Queen up there. So
Yeah. He played well. He had a whole list of people tied for 7th.
yeah,
Nico, Greg, Freddie Meza, Ezra Aderhold, and then Paul Macbeth 9 under with AB, Corey Ellis, 25 other people.
yeah, ton of other people.
I think that's my big gripe about this course is that there's not a whole lot of scoring separation.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't lead me to be necessarily be that interested all the time.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, cool, well there's 20 people. Like
Yeah.
who's gonna miss a putt? Great. You win.
Yeah. No,
You know?
I agree with that, and I was talking to Ben about this, and he said he loves this course because it's not very long. There aren't a
No.
lot of long shots. It's out of the pros, who's playing the best today. It's not who has the
Right.
max distance, and I kind of agreed with that. Um, I feel like this
It
course is a little fluky sometimes, though.
I think that's where I get it is more so the flukiness of like it does feel like park style disc golf. Like especially a couple of the holes, like the one was that 15 or 16 with the fence.
Mm-hmm.
there, and like you got the electrical box that people are hitting or throwing over. Like I think Owen skipped off it on the last day, which was kind of fun to watch. But like it definitely gets fluky sometimes.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't mind Waco. I think it is like whoever is there to play, like who shows up to play, right? Who has the nerves? Who conquers their nerves? Who conquers the shot shapes? And like,
Yeah,
I watched Ezra Aderhold and Aaron Gossage's video on this, and they were like, literally the next three holes are this same shot shape.
yeah,
You know, like a little fluky, but it's one of the first big. It's one of the first big tournaments of the year, and I think it shows who's on form. Who can be on form. I think it's a good indicator of like, hey, this person is on form today. You know,
right.
and I want to talk about that a little more after we finish round three. Round two,
Oh,
or you had something?
no, I was gonna say round two first.
Oh, okay, round two. You see Vinny, you see Paul Macbeth shooting up the ladder. You see Simon shooting up the ladder. You see Evan Smith shooting up the ladder. You see some people falling down the ladder. Ezra Robinson falling down. Where's some other ones? Sullivan Tipton falling down pretty far. Um,
Nico kind of fell off.
Nico kind of fell off. Um,
Wow, Klein fell off.
Kyle Klein fell off. I'm trying to look lower. Jacob Semerod had a great day, but like 8 under, but still way behind the leaders. But he did have a good day out there. Freddie Meza really fell off. He shot neg 10 day one and shot a +5 day two. All his final four holes kind of screwed him over there.
Yeah,
Braden Sides had a better day. I'm just kind of scrolling through the list, seeing if I see big names. Um, yeah, that was pretty much it.
I think the other big thing going back to like Waco as a course is you see something here with Paul not taking a single bogey out there, shooting 10 under. This course style fits Paul's game so perfectly, and I think
Yeah,
it's more of that older style of disc golf.
for sure.
Um, and you could just kind of see it in the way, like, I don't think he's fallen off. I think he's still really good. I just think that this course over others, like, you're definitely going to see him more at the top, with like we do here in
Yeah,
second place now on day two. And I'm not gonna be that surprised in other courses when I see Paul further down on the leaderboards.
sure. Yeah, totally. And you also see Simon have an insane day.
Yeah, high winds.
High winds day
Is
two. Very high winds day two.
Yeah, very windy course. It was kind of who can putt, and Simon with that spinny putt
He shot up
makes everything.
37 places.
Really, is it
30,
that much?
yeah, 37 places. Neg 12 with a
Dang.
1082 rating, with a
Dang.
bogey on the card.
Yeah,
Um,
I
not
think that was his only missed putt that day too.
yeah. Did you see Nico throw lefty
Day three.
day two and three?
Oh, day two and three.
He threw lefty
The lefty,
backhand, lefty
dude, his
backhand.
lefty looks better than most people's righty.
Yeah, or a strong arm.
Yeah.
Um, were you surprised to see that come out? I know we've seen it with Eagle before and other players, but like,
I think it's just a preference, right? Do I think it's more utilitarian than a forehand is? Um, I think they both have different aspects. Like if you could figure out how to throw lefty backhand and have a forehand, righty forehand, not necessarily the same shot.
no,
Like the disc will do different things.
sure,
Um, so I think it's actually really useful to have. I just don't think it's necessarily what is needed. Like you could throw a forehand on that hole and be just fine.
yeah,
We saw that out of 90% of the pros.
yeah,
But going lefty, I think it's more of just a, hey, look what I can do, and also like it works.
yeah,
You know.
totally.
So, I thought it was fun. Um, the other day 2 shenanigans happening was Simon going OB, another spotter issue, claiming that his disc went out, even though apparently it came back in under the fence. So when he went up to play from his lie, instead of walking all the way up to grab his disc, he played it from where the spotter said that he went out of bounds, which is like 100 feet back. And you aren't necessarily going to walk all the way up to your disc to be like, oh, am I out of bounds? Like keeping pace of play and doing everything. So he ended up throwing a shot, realizing he was actually in bounds. So it cost him a practice throw essentially, and then he threw from his lie and was still able to save par, which is kind of awesome for him. But
Yeah.
at the same time, strokes.
Yeah.
Same time, what was happening on lead card, I believe, because Adam Hammis was up there, hole 18, threw across the river or across the pond.
Yep.
And from what I saw from the photos and the coverage, that disc was not in bounds.
No, it was
never.
It was so. I mean, it's close, but it's not in bounds.
No, it never crossed that white line. And because the line itself is out of bounds, so it had to be on the other side of it.
Yeah.
So they said it was in bounds. He played it as if it was in bounds, kind of thing. Which, I mean, no fault of his. You know, you're gonna claim like, yeah, I think that's in. Like, what you do. So he was able to essentially get away on that hole with, I believe, a par after what could have been an OB throw. And throwing back across the water.
Yes.
Yeah, because he would have had to have rethrown from where he crossed OB or re-tee.
Yeah.
Which would have been the other side of the water again.
Yes.
So, a lot of things happening day 2.
Yeah, a lot of things happening, and it kind of came down to the wire on day 3. And if one of those things went differently, what do we have?
Day 3, we would have had either a tie and or Simon winning and Adam in second. But that's not what happens. And you got to play to your scores. So Adam Hammis taking it down, 30 under. Simon Lizotte coming in second at 29 under. And Nico and Evan Smith tied for third at 27.
Those are two interesting characters to have up top, but I'm not surprised because it isn't a bomber course, right? Like I said.
I was going to say, it goes back to that whole like park style, right? Like this fits Nico's game pretty well. Evan Smith, I think, is just ever growing.
Yeah.
Like, he's getting better and better. I will say, huge shout out to Adam Hammis, hole 7. Did you see that forehand?
Yeah. C1?
Dude, it was like 6 feet.
Yeah! Insane!
Just flip up forehand, out the gap. Beautiful. Like, he was yelling "for" the whole time because he was going to wreck the camera crew.
Did you see how close that disc came to the camera?
Oh, I did.
If the cameraman reached out with his, like, maybe a little further than his arm.
I would say he was not that close. But
like,
it was
out there, maybe, like, another foot or two. But it was close.
It was flexing. Like,
yeah.
He had it the whole way. But it was, I mean, that disc was going 500 feet.
Yeah. I
like
mean,
how he threw it.
430-foot hole, yeah.
Yeah. If it did not hit that wall, it was going to keep going.
Yeah. That was
an
insane.
Impeccable shot out of Adam Hammis.
Crazy.
And that putt, the putt on 18 as well.
Dude, that putt's got to be nerve-wracking. I mean, same with Simon's putt, and we heard about it from Simon in his vlogs. It's a nervy putt, and pros, they have nerves as well. Like, Simon said he was basically, like, shaking walking up to that putt on 18 to, you know, if he birdies this and Adam messes up, he wins or goes to playoff if Adam doesn't play it perfectly, right? And what does Adam do?
But it's at 30, I think they called it like 36 feet. He was just outside C1. Death putt, basically looking at the water. And moment came, he drained it.
Yeah.
Took it down, you know? He did what he had to in the moment.
Yeah. Also, big shout out to Ryan Mon on the
Oh yeah,
final. No, Jake Mon?
Jake Mon.
Jake Mon, not Ryan Mon. Shot at 1082, tying Paul McBeth's 18 under when there was different pars on that
Yeah,
course.
40,
Like,
49 total.
yep. Um, Another 1082 round. Shout out. So, but
That's
some people up top that I want to talk about real quick. Um, Andrew Marweed and Evan Scott shot up the ranks. Gannon had a good last day, as Gannon always does. Paul Cranes had a decent last day at 12 under. Um, yeah, this is one of those courses where you see a lot of movement throughout the weekend. You know.
yeah. I mean, the wind plays a big factor in that, right? Like day two, we saw how windy that course was, and we saw who did well.
Yeah.
Most of the season pros versus day three, no wind, perfect conditions, and we see people absolutely shred that course.
Yeah. For sure. Um, I don't mind park style disc golf on the pro tour. I think does need to be a few more separating holes, but overall, I thought it was pretty fun. Um,
Yeah,
it
I
keeps us
mean
on our
it.
toes, right? Like, if it's a big bomber course, you have four people fighting for the lead, and everyone else is just trying to keep up. Whereas, like, this course, it's like one bad hole can send you 18 places.
Yeah, I would say there's not a whole lot of variety though. This course
Yes.
plays well to forehands and putters.
Yes.
And you kind of see that with, Adam Hammis, forehand dominant player. Um, Simon, not necessarily forehand dominant, but really good at backhand turnovers. Same with Nicolo Castro.
And,
Marweed, great putter.
yeah.
Gannon, great forehand. Greg Barsby, great putter. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I think it's one of the few that a lefty could do really well at as well.
Yes, and that's what we saw with Nathan Queen round one. You
Yep.
know, yeah, it was interesting to watch. I did actually enjoy watching the final round because you didn't know who was gonna win the whole time. Whereas like sometimes you go and it's like, oh, it's three people fighting for it, and this time it's you had they had to highlight two people on chase card because they were playing good.
Well, yeah, Vinny was kind of throwing it away at
Yeah.
times too. Like, you had that rise and fall, right?
Yeah.
Like, who is on lead card outside of Adam Hammis? It
Calvin,
was AB,
Paul.
Calvin, Paul,
Yeah.
and Adam Hammis. Let's see. AB was the highest finisher. No, Calvin tied for fifth, and then AB tied for 11th with Paul. Like, both 4 and 5 strokes behind.
Yeah. It was
Big
Calvin's.
movements.
It was Calvin's tournament throwaway, and he did throw it away with that triple bogey on 17 or whatever it was. The
Yeah.
one where you can like throw like a Sky Annie over the top instead of like the pitch up forehand.
I think he was trying to keep up, and once he got to that forehand where like he was just like, all right, well, I'm gonna send it, like
Yeah.
hits that tree and drops again. It's like, yeah, you're done at that point. Like
Yep.
he kind of knew his tournament was over.
Yep. Um.
So
Yeah. So we have the first. I would say that's you know whatever was last week, or 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, the one in Florida.
Yeah. I think that's more of like a preseason warm up. Like, yeah, it's a good course. I do really enjoy watching that course. Kind of wish it was chess sponsoring that tournament.
Chess.com.
Yeah, but I feel like this is like the first one where everyone's at.
We saw Kristen here.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't there previously. The only person we didn't see was Eagle here this week.
No.
No, I think he's starting his tour with the next tournament.
Yeah, but this is like
Outside of that, you see everybody there.
yeah,
Ricky, the Paul, Calvin, AB.
yeah,
Everybody that's of notable name outside of, I think, Eagle was at this tournament this week.
Yeah.
So
Um, it it's hard to tell right now because we've seen two very different courses and a lot of different play styles, and like we know there's lots of courses along the ride for these guys for the pro tour. There's a lot of different shot shapes and mental game that goes into it, but early season predictions. We're gonna do MPO, FPO. You know, who do we think's gonna do well? Who do we think's not gonna do well? Give it to me, Dave.
All right, who do you think the points leader is at the end of the year?
For FPO or MPO?
MPO.
Okay. Let me pull
Let's
up.
let's start MPO first this time.
Okay. Points leader.
So it's not necessarily who's won the most or anything else like
Yes.
that.
Who,
Like
who's
typically it is who won the most because they get the most points, but who's going to have the highest average essentially throughout the year?
okay? I feel like this is kind of a cheater answer, but I do have a secondary.
Okay.
It has to be Ganon.
Okay.
And here's why. He's young, he's motivated, he wants to win, and he has all the
Mm-hmm.
skill to do it.
What's your second?
I'm gonna shock you right here. Okay?
It's not gonna be Goose.
It's not
gonna be
Goose. It's not Goose. AB's third.
Okay.
Ezra Robinson.
So Ezra is going to be my top.
Really?
I think he has a more consistent year. I think he has a Vinny type year.
Yeah.
Like when Calvin wasn't out of like the top 5 all season.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ezra can do something similar to that, where his game style isn't necessarily flashy, but if his putt's on and he's throwing well, he's never going to finish outside the top 5.
Sure.
So I definitely think Ezra this year, at least from these first 2 tournaments and seeing him play, could 100% beat Gannon out as far as like points go. Just because of, like I said, I feel like Gannon's ceiling's here and Ezra's might be like here, but Ezra's not dropping below here.
Sure.
Versus Gannon, we've already seen
can go
have those days. Yeah.
I also
where he's just like doesn't want to be there.
Yeah, I also want to put. I think Simon places in top 5 in points. You know, he's placed top 10 in the last 2 tournaments.
I don't think he does, just because I don't think he plays enough.
Okay, if he plays everything.
Yeah.
I think he's up there. I think we see AB either catch fire and challenge for that top 2-3 slots, or he falls way down and like barely makes the cut.
Mm-hmm.
I see Ezra Aderhold actually like kind of moving up a little bit. Isaac, he'll be in the cut. I think someone, if Goose can figure out his new putt, it looks more consistent already. If Goose can figure out his new putt, he'll do good. I think Cole Ridolin's right on the edge. I'm kind of going through.
You're just saying everybody at this point. You've named 20 people that could be up top.
I'm saying they just barely make the cut. But I think I think my top 3 are Gannon, Ezra Robinson, AB in that order.
Yeah.
I think Simon breaks into it if he plays enough. He is a top 10 for sure. Yeah. That's what I got.
I definitely think Ezra and Gannon. I don't think that Vinny has what it takes to kind of have that kind of season again. I don't know if it's his drive or what's going on with his putt or whatnot, but like
his putt looked great all weekend until round 3. Round 3, it just wasn't there. You know, we all have days.
It just didn't feel the same, right?
Sure.
But I definitely think that we might start seeing some of these younger names like Evan Smith or Evan Scott kind of creeping up this year.
Yeah.
could have like a similar thing to what Ganon's done in the past.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun to watch.
For sure.
Who's your early worlds prediction?
Ooh,
It is in Europe.
early worlds. Okay,
It's in Europe.
I haven't thought about this. Do you know what kind of course it is? I haven't looked at the course.
Let me see.
Yeah.
2025 World.
Um, it is in
It's
Europe.
right after the. It's right after the European Championship. It is at Nokia and Tampere.
Okay, we've seen Nokia before. More of an open
Yep.
course. I mean, yes, it's wooded, but it is more open and distance friendly.
Yep.
Um,
So they play European Championship, and then the next week is World. So majors back to back.
Paul Paul Macbeth wins European Championship. I'm really leaning towards Paul if he plays well, but I have a sneaky one.
Okay.
This is Simon's shot, and here's why. He's in Europe. He's from
Yep.
Germany.
Mm-hmm.
It's arguably his last. He's got maybe 2, 3 great years behind him left, and he is gonna go over there, figure it out, and he's just gonna go throw trick shots and play well. That's what I think, but I could be wrong. I think Simon has a really good chance. I think Nicholas has a really good chance.
That's my pick.
That was my number two, and then I'm gonna throw
Not.
I'm gonna throw a ghost out there. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna throw a ghost out there. I think we see. Oh my gosh, I was just looking at his name. I I could see a young AB go if he's on his game, if he figures out Europe golf. But
I was gonna say I don't think he has European golf. Like
yeah,
AB has not played well in Europe, in my opinion.
yeah. Um,
Um,
no, I see Simon and Nicholas Antela top two done. Thank you.
the Europeans.
Yeah, I want them to win a year. Yeah. Have we ever
Yeah.
had a non-American win a Worlds?
Yes.
Am I stupid?
Greg Barsby.
Ricky, Paul, James,
Isaac twice.
Emac,
Eric McCabe. Eric McCabe won?
PDJ Worlds.
Maybe not. Um, but I definitely think that Nokia was where Nicholas plays well on that style of course. Eagle played really well there 2 years ago before his injury when he was throwing lefty everywhere when
Yeah.
him and Paul went off. Um, I do think it is a long time to be spending away, that they're going to be back to back majors. There's going to be a lot of fatigue involved. Um, and it's on a style of course that isn't necessarily playing to like the big bombers.
Sure.
So I like Nicholas for it. I think Paul actually has a really good chance at Nokia. Paul Macbeth.
Yep.
And wild card, I think Ricky gets a major this year with new bag.
I'm down. I'm down. I'm looking
What?
through, and it dates back to '82,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm clicking through everyone's name, and they're all
They're all U.S.
all East Coast for the most part too.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we've had as Americans have won everyone because Climo had his reign, Cameron
Yeah.
Todd, South Carolina, Barry
I mean,
Schultz,
just
Nate
going.
Dawes, Ken Climo, Nate Dawes, David Feldberg, he was from Georgia.
Yep.
Eric
Yeah, I think it.
McCabe.
Yep.
Kansas. Kansas. Hey, Hallie will be in. Hallie will be happy. Yeah. So there you go.
So it would be fun to see a non-US win Worlds, especially when it's in Europe.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be fun.
All right, and then um, who's your biggest surprise for the year? Who do you think plays like either really bad, really good? Like what is the biggest surprise you think will happen this year?
Okay.
And the other big reason we're not talking FPO necessarily is because Kristen wins, Kristen wins, Kristen
Yes.
wins, Kristen.
Yes. Yes. Oh yeah. All right. I have three surprises.
Okay.
I think we see Connor Rock um, have a very consistent year as like a full rookie on the tour, and I
Okay.
think he is right on that cut line for points at the end of the year.
Okay.
I see Ezra Aderhold winning a major, and I see Gannon struggling this year.
Even though you put him as the points
Yes,
winner.
I did. I'm gonna take back what I said. I think we see Gannon like he's always gonna be, he's always gonna be in the cash line, right?
Do you think he has a Vinny type year?
I think he has a year where he is either in first place or he's flirting with the cash line. One or the other.
Gotcha.
I don't think we're gonna see quite the dominance we've seen the last year out of him, where
Hmm.
he's top five, top 10, number one. I think it's a more up and down year. Those are mine. What do you got?
All right. Well, I already hinted at one.
Sure.
I think Ricky wins a major this year. Come back,
Let's do it.
Ricky. Disc new bag Discraft, finally winning a major after years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't think Vinny gets his first major win this year. I don't.
Okay.
Um, I don't think the courses really play to his style, and I don't know that he has it. So I think it'll be another year for you, Calvin. Sorry, bud. Uh, what else? I think we see somebody like a Sullivan Tipton or an Evan Scott win a couple tournaments this year.
Okay.
I think we have I think we have more of those younger rookies surprise winning tournaments
Sure.
as opposed to it always being like the same 5, 6 people.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the big upset this year is that, there's a lot more of that like younger crowd that's able to figure out how to play.
Yeah.
So,
Sure.
I think that's what I'm looking forward to this year is seeing those lower names like Jake Mon, right? Who
Yeah.
had, shot around so well that he kept up with one of Paul's best rounds
Yeah.
ever. Like it's possible. They just need to put together a weekend, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's what I got for big surprises this year.
Okay. I like that. Um, we had one more thing, but I kind of want to save it for next week because we are almost on that hour mark. Um, but yeah, I think this year will be really interesting. I think we're going to see a lot of the similar names at the top. I don't think the dominance is necessarily going to be there. I think we're going to see a lot more, Joey Bucket surprises. I think we're going to see some of these like higher to lower midfield players, as I would call them, kind of
Mm-hmm.
jump up the ranks a little bit, and some of these top players fall down every once in a while. I'm
It's
very
that the Connor Rocks are moving up, and the
Hmm.
Ricky and the Pauls are moving down.
Yeah. I'm excited for this year in disc golf, though. I know, like, I I've been I'm excited. One play, two film, and three watch, because we have a lot of fun stuff coming up, Dave.
We do.
Got a lot of fun
It's gonna be
stuff.
a it's gonna be a very interesting springtime.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Got a lot coming up. Um, I will say I'm very excited to watch FPO as well. I know we're gonna try to start doing a lot more uh, women focused content here in Utah,
Yeah.
and FPO is always fun to watch because it is very relatable to the average player.
Hmm.
You know, I still don't think I could outdrive Kristen, and I throw further than I ever have.
Yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
I am excited to see that there are a lot more FPO players this year that seem to be in the mix.
Yeah, and
You
maybe
know,
not even necessarily in the mix, just more in general, right? Like,
yeah,
you,
but I
but
mean, like there's not a 30-point gap. Like,
sure,
I
but
mean,
like,
take for granted, kind of
let's.
was this weekend, but
So there's 52 ladies that played this weekend.
yep,
That's and like top 25 cashed. Cash line was top 26, and so it's top 25 and tied. Um, like I think that's the most, if I'm not mistaken. Like I know we've seen like some, like I know I've seen some 53s and stuff, but 52 ladies for WACO is pretty impressive. I think.
yeah, that and there's a lot more I feel like that are keeping up with the crowd, right? Like,
Hmm.
take for granted women's scores are never necessarily going to be like that low, but we did have what 14, 15, 16 people shoot under par at that course
Yeah.
for the weekend. I honestly don't think either of us over 3 days would shoot under par.
No way. Unless
Not even close.
I think if we played best shot doubles,
Maybe.
we would get close.
Yeah.
But like,
So
yeah,
so the fact that there's that many now, I find to be very like hopeful. And like you said, seeing Rebecca Cox shoot 11 under for that round, 1035 rated, Owen Scoggins 1004 rated,
hmm,
like we're gonna start seeing a lot more ladies being able to keep up with the top pack.
yeah, which will be super fun.
Yep.
Um, Dave, anything else for us?
Uh, there's a reason those avalanche signs are dug in. Please don't run into them. Uh,
Oh God.
you will not win that battle.
Oh, Davers, what are we gonna do with you?
I would have been, dude. Nice guy stopped to help me as well, and he's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Like, I work here." He's like, "You sure you don't need me to call anybody?" And I was like, "I have a radio. I had a radio on me." And I was just like, "If I need, I can call, but
Yeah,
I'm not calling patrol."
yeah,
Be like, "Hey, the bottom of Mambo and Main Street, there's a skier down. It's me.
yeah.
Hi,
That's
I'm the
fair,
problem."
for sure. All right, guys. Well, thank you for watching. We'll be back next week with a recap on what's going on next week.
I don't think we have anything going on next week.
Oh, well, we have a lot to talk about next week because Ian had some brain ideas after shooting
Oh no, open at Austin,
Open at Austin. I also have some
presented
I.
by Fight Factory.
Thank you. We also have Ian ideas on ratings and what ratings are. Thank you very much.
See you guys later.
Peace.